agency, or is AJ still here? Can you just share with the council what that JPIA does? And are my appointments, do they have to be from council, if I recall? I can appoint. And where meetings are and that sort of thing.
Good evening, AJ Gaddis, Human Resource Director. The JPIA is an annual appointment, actually, and what it is the designated person is at the council level. It's a voting director that will attend annual and quarterly meetings representing the city of Calexico. The Joint Powers Authority is a pool of cities and special districts that the city of Calexico has been part of since 1978. So we're one of the founding cities, and so we just definitely want to make sure we have a voice. The Joint Powers Authority basically is a pooling service, Joint Powers Authority that basically has 120 cities and special districts that pool their resources together to fund the workers' comp program and the general liability program as well. So you have an individual, a council, that will represent the city, and then you have an alternative that can be the city manager or a staff, designated staff. You also have a meeting scheduled for tomorrow, so whoever you designate today needs to be at a meeting in La Palma and up in the LA area. Or you can give your proxy apparently to AJ if you want her to be there.
I think for tomorrow's meeting, I think I'll appoint you to attend the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
But for any other appointment, I think Mayor Pro Tem Zahn had a comment on the...
No, I think this is something
Okay, we'll bring it up. For now, my appointment, I guess, anyone, let me ask anyone wishing to sit on the board before it.
Four meetings a year.
Or meetings a year.
Yes, just to let you know that the trips are completely reimbursable. The lodging, the gas, the travel, and whether you take a private car or a city vehicle, or if you have to, fly, completely reimbursable. So.
Nick, one of those cars you want to donate?
That's the point, Mr. Rivera was right. Maybe council could use those to get us from here to the street problem. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to volunteer for that. Would you volunteer?
Yes.
Okay. So let it be that my appointment is Mr. John Moreno.
Second. But not tomorrow.
Second, do we have to wrap on the appointment? Have to vote on it? Yes?
I guess so. There's actually two. You need to appoint your designated person. I'll be happy to, and then address the letter, proxy letter.
Okay, so the alternate, one or more maybe council members. Okay, so the alternate may be, anyone else ready?
I'll take it.
Okay.
John,
Mr.
there
Romero?
you go. There's a bank.
Whereabouts in La Palma? They don't count.
Oh,
A couple blocks away from La Palma.
oh, okay. Well, it's not that bad.
You said I'll let you finish.
So my appointment will be John Moreno, my alternate will be Mayor Romero. I'll be the third alternate in case they can't go, and then we'll appoint AJ as our last representative. Okay. I have a first and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Appointment of city council member to the Special Financing Authority.
And this is just the mayor's appointment too. That's the way the JPA agreement reads.
What's the role, if you can share that?
Sure. Essentially, the Heffernan Board and the City of Calexico formed in 1996 the Joint Powers Authority, and the purpose of that was to administer the bonds and the debt of Heffernan Memorial Hospital District with relation to the Calexico Hospital. So since 1996, this JPA has been dealing with the half-cent sales tax that came in and essentially paid off all of the debt for the hospital district. And now what the JPA has is that there's about, is it 3 million? 2 to 3 million in excess funds from the half-cent sales tax that the JPA is allowed to spend for healthcare services for the city of Calexico. And essentially, back in October of 2007, we had a joint meeting, or the council had a joint meeting with Heffernan Board to try to discuss how we give out that money or spend that money. And there was kind of an agreement, but Heffernan did not follow through with approving a resolution on giving the city the money for the fire department. And at this point, I believe there's, that's still an open question is what's going to happen with the money. So anyhow, the 2 city council members that are on there, it's a very important role because there's only 4 members on this JPA board, 2 council, 2 from Heffernan, and for any action to take place, the 2 city council members have to be in favor of it. So the way the JPA was written, the city has the upper hand in any decisions that are made. But essentially, you still have to get one of the Heffernan board or appointees to agree with what you're going to do. So that's kind of the background.
Before I asked for any interest from my colleagues, there was an agreement that the Heffernan representatives were supposed to hand over to the city an amount that was close to $1 million for our fire department or just our public safety for the purchase of equipment, I believe a pediatric defibrillator, I think there was an ambulance, may have been Jaws of Life, tools that we need to provide health care for our citizens. And I just don't understand their reluctance. And their excuse has been that they don't trust that we'll enter into any agreement with them after that money is handed over. I've said it publicly, I know it's been mentioned that essentially they're holding our citizens hostage for a personal interest in funds that don't belong to that Heffernan board. They belong to all the taxpayers that paid into that particular fund. So first I would ask if there is any relationship with any of the existing Heffernan district board members that you think would be a conflict. I would ask that you just mention that there's a conflict and you certainly wouldn't like to sit. But if you're up to the task, because this is the most ridiculous JPA I've ever seen, where you have a 4-member board, you can never get anything done. If you don't agree on it, it's always us against them, and we don't move on anything. So if you're up to the task and trying to convince the other Heffernan board members that the community deserves the health care services that will be provided by the funds, just like the residents were sold on it, please let it be known. So, any interest from our council to sit on this JPA? We would need to.
I am.
Sounds good.
Okay, so with
I'm interested in this.
yeah, you tried. So my appointment.
That's an issue that we've arisen.
If you could take that to the Heffernan district.
They have attorney's fee and the attorneys from out of town, so whatever money they have, $3 million, they're going to be running out of that money quickly before they can do anything.
It's, they tie
The
in.
attorney's going to take it.
Just be aware, some background, they tie into the sale of the hospital property, they tie in other things that have no relation to this particular fund and what was agreed to. So with that, my appointments would be Councilman Romero, Councilman Gastos in the JPA. Do I have a motion? So moved. Okay, you have a motion, seconded? Got a second? Second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Great. Item number 24, consideration to submit a half-cent sales tax measure for parks and recreation purposes for the November election. Who is bringing this? Ralph and Jennifer.
I could just speak to the legal aspects of it. Essentially, November